Hi there, Chris from TotallyEV, and here I'm doing a dedicated audio review of the new Peugeot E-2008. If you want a detailed review of the vehicle itself, make sure you check it up on your pop banner or by following the links down in the description below. Now to kick things off, we have to talk about its audio configuration. And here, as standard across the entire trim range, at least at the time of filming and in the UK, you've got a 6-speaker setup only, which is a little bit disappointing because there's no room for upgrades. Of course, you can go via an aftermarket solution if you so wish, but that will potentially void your warranty and you'll have to spend some additional extra money. Now here you've got tweeters that are found within the A-pillars, you have got then woofers that are found within each of the 4 doors. Surprisingly, towards the rear doors, you will actually find a space for an additional tweeter, but it's actually been blanked out. So it seems like either Peugeot has changed their mind, or potentially that in the future there will be some upgrades, or of course in different markets there are some other audio configurations, but I can't actually confirm that. Wattage claims have not actually been shared by the manufacturer. Now for you to tinker around with the audio system, you'll want to navigate on the 10-inch infotainment system. And here you have got a neutral and a dynamic preset. In my case, I preferred the former. As for the treble, mid-range and bass, I have added 1 notch to treble, 1 notch to mid-range and 2 notches to bass. But of course it's all very subjective and is very much dependent on my own music tastes. And in this respect, you might want to tinker around with it to your own heart's content. But I wouldn't really go crazy on some of the adjustments, and I'll explain why further down in this video. Now for you to connect up to the infotainment system, you have got Bluetooth, although it's limited to the lowest quality SBC codec only, which is a little bit disappointing. Thankfully, however, you have also got wired and wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, both of which are very much appreciated as it allows you to play higher quality playback via songs that are stored on your smartphone. Moving swiftly on, let's talk about cabin noise, and here the objective measurements will be on your screen. Now for those people who are subscribed, you'll know that the measurements that were recorded within the cabin are actually pretty impressive, specifically at the higher speeds. Indeed, in my case, I actually found the vehicle to be actually really serene, which isn't the same that could be said about its predecessor, nor including some of the alternatives out there on the market. So Peugeot have done a tremendous job when it comes to the overall sound dampening, and therefore means that you actually have a pretty serene in-cabin experience, which will be very much appreciated given the fact that you have got a fully electric powertrain as well. Now for me to give you a little bit of a taster as to how the audio system actually performs, I'll be placing the camera and microphone in 4 separate locations. I'll be playing back Priya J's track, which is titled Like Me. Now I do appreciate an audio demo over YouTube is not ideal. It's using my microphones, it's being compressed, and it's not going to give you a lifelike reproduction. The best thing you can do is actually sit in the vehicle yourself. But you're here to actually get my subjective opinion as someone who's reviewed over 100 different vehicles. Now in this respect, what I'll say is that the overall sub-bass experience is cut short, and of course that is due to the omission of a subwoofer. Now the woofers that are found within each of the 4 doors do a decent job, but of course they are a little bit cut short, and yet again over here will give you a little bit of a lackluster reproduction in terms of giving that low-end rumble that you might come to expect and love if you're listening to a lot of R&B, D&B or EDM music. Now in terms of the overall mid-bass, I do think it's actually pretty punchy, specifically adding 2 notches to the bass EQ. I felt to be pretty lively and excited, be it at the front or rear of the cabin. Unfortunately, however, the overall mid-bass impact does leak into the mids, and you might be quick to actually adjust the mid-range EQ, but by doing so by any more than 1 notch will take away from the overall accuracy. Here you'll get a little bit of a veiled sound and something that sounds a little bit off. So for example, male and female vocals won't come across as accurately as they should do, but on the flip side you'll have a little bit more of that forward sounding mid-range. So in this respect, I just left it to an extra 1 notch on the mid-range and therefore expect a little bit of a V-shaped sound signature. As for the highs, they extend relatively well at the front of the cabin thanks to those dedicated tweeters, and thanks to a little bit of an EQ that you can add, it means that you can get a little bit of that extra zing and that toe tapping feeling. Unfortunately, the same couldn't be said at the rear of the cabin because you've got no dedicated tweeters. Those blocked out speaker grills would have been great to be filled with tweeters, and therefore would have given your rear occupants a little bit of a better experience. Now, as for the overall soundstage reproduction, it is yet again a little bit mediocre. See, the overall instrument separation could have been a little bit better, specifically if there were extra audio drivers that are positioned within the cabin, and the overall width and depth just feels a little bit closed. You've got a bit more of that unidirectional sound. It's not too bad in the grand scheme of things, don't get me wrong, but I would have expected just a little bit more. Or for example, if there was an audio upgrade, it could have really upped the ante with a center audio driver, or for example, more speakers at the rear of the cabin. Now ultimately what I'm trying to say over here is that the stock audio system that's found within the Peugeot E-2008 will certainly suffice for the vast majority of consumers, and as a result gets our approved audio award. However, audiophiles out there might expect a little bit more and or want an audio upgrade. In this respect, if you're going for the Peugeot E-2008, you might want to look at an aftermarket solution. Or of course, if you're open to alternative vehicles, you might want to look at some of the ones that were reviewed and be down in the description below for your own consideration. If you have enjoyed this detailed independent review, definitely do consider dropping a like, subscribing and hitting that bell notification, all of which would be greatly appreciated. As such, I've been Chris from TotallyEV, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and goodbye.